The moon hung low over Blackwater Bay, casting a silvery sheen on the restless waves that whispered secrets to the shore. The air was thick with salt and an eerie chill, as if the sea itself was alive and watching. They say the bay was cursed, a place where ships vanished and sailors' screams echoed across the water long after the wind had carried their bodies to the depths. Tonight it was different. The bay wasn't silent. It was waiting. Have you ever felt it? That prickling sensation at the back of your neck, the one that tells you someone, or something, is watching? As I stood there, feet sinking into the damp sand, I felt it. The hairs on my arms rose, and my breath hitched as if the sea had stolen it. I wasn't alone. The legend of the phantom ship wasn't just a story. Everyone in town knew it. The cursed vessel that appeared without warning, a spectral silhouette against the horizon, glowing faintly as if lit by a fire that refused to die. Those who saw it rarely lived to tell the tale, and those who did, well, let's just say they were never the same. I had heard the stories growing up, tales of Captain Elias Wainwright, a man consumed by greed and betrayal, who led his crew to their watery graves in pursuit of cursed treasure. They say the ship, the Widow's Lament, still sailed these waters, searching for the souls it had lost. The thought made my blood run cold, but I couldn't look away from the horizon. Something was out there. Something was coming. The wind picked up, carrying with it a mournful wail that sounded almost human. Could it be the cries of the crew, trapped in eternal torment? Or was it just the wind playing tricks on my mind? You'd have to hear it to believe it. Would you dare stand there, facing the unknown? I should have turned back, but curiosity is a funny thing, isn't it? It pulls you forward, even when every instinct tells you to run. The waves began to crash harder against the shore, and then I saw it, a shadow emerging from the mist. The ship, its masts were torn, and its sails hung like tattered shrouds. A pale, otherworldly light surrounded it, making it look more like a ghost than a vessel. The hull was blackened as if scorched by fire, and the figurehead, a woman carved from wood, seemed to weep, her painted eyes streaked with blood-red tears. My heart thundered in my chest. Was this real? Could it be? Before I could process what I was seeing, a faint melody drifted through the air. It was hauntingly beautiful, yet filled with sorrow, as though it came from another time. The sound pulled me closer, my feet moving as if controlled by an unseen force. The water lapped at my ankles, icy and unforgiving, but I couldn't stop. The ship was calling to me. And then I saw them, the crew. Shadows of men and women moved across the deck, their forms translucent, their faces twisted in anguish. Their eyes glowed faintly, hollow and searching. One of them turned toward me, and I swear, for a moment, we locked eyes. Have you ever looked into the eyes of something that shouldn't exist? I wouldn't wish it on anyone. Suddenly, a voice boomed across the bay, deep and commanding. "Who dares disturb the waters of Blackwater Bay?" it demanded. It wasn't a question. It was a warning. The figure of Captain Wainwright emerged from the shadows, his form towering and ghastly. His coat was torn and dripping, his face half decayed yet strangely regal. He held a lantern in one hand, its flame an unnatural green, and in the other, a sword that seemed to shimmer like liquid silver. That I wanted to scream, to run, but my body betrayed me. My feet were rooted in the sand, my voice caught in my throat. The captain's hollow gaze settled on me, and he spoke again. "You've seen the ship. Now you must pay the price." The crew began to chant, their voices low and guttural, the language unrecognizable. The sea around the ship began to churn violently, and I felt the ground beneath me shift as if the earth itself was giving way. Was this how it ended? Pulled into the abyss, swallowed by a legend that should have remained buried? But then I remembered the stories, the treasure, the curse. The only way to escape was to refuse their bargain, to deny the lure of the riches they offered. "I don't want anything from you," I shouted, though my voice shook with fear. "Leave me alone." The captain paused, his decayed features twisting into what might have been a smile. "Brave words," he said, "but bravery won't save you." He raised the lantern, and its sickly green light washed over me, blinding and cold. My mind was filled with images, flashes of the ship's fiery demise, the betrayal of the crew, the curse that bound them to this endless torment. It was too much. I dropped to my knees, gasping for air. "Join us," the crew chanted, their voices rising like a tidal wave. "Join us, or be consumed." I had seconds to decide. Fight or surrender. Live or become one of them. What would you do? Would you stand your ground, or let the fear take you? Just when I thought it was over, a blinding flash of light cut through the darkness. The melody stopped, the chanting ceased, and the ship began to fade. The figure of a woman appeared, her form radiant and ethereal. It was the figurehead come to life, her wooden tears replaced by a serene smile. "Your time here is done, Elias," she said, her voice soft yet commanding. "Release them." The captain snarled, his form flickering like a dying flame. "You cannot take what is mine." "I can," she replied, her light growing brighter. "And I will." The crew let out a collective cry as their forms dissolved into the mist. The ship groaned, its timbers splintering, and then it was gone, swallowed by the sea as if it had never been. I collapsed onto the sand, trembling and drenched in cold sweat. The woman turned to me, her light dimming as she smiled. "You were brave," she said, "but be warned. The bay remembers." And just like that, she vanished, leaving me alone with the crashing waves and the lingering taste of salt and fear. Now, as I sit here recounting this tale, I can't help but wonder, was it real? Or was it some vivid nightmare conjured by the cursed waters of Blackwater Bay? You tell me, do you believe in ghosts? Before you go, subscribe to our channel for more tales like this one. You never know when you'll need a story to keep you company on a dark, stormy night. Until next time, stay safe and stay curious. Would you like to expand any part of this story further? ChatGPT can make mistakes. Check important info.